Hi, this is my very short introduction. My name is Emily. When I was pregnant with my son, I was diagnosed with B-cell ALL. I fundraise for research and resources, raise awareness about leukemia and how it affects young adults, and I'm learning to stay positive with the help of the friends that I've made along the way. I'm learning to cope creatively and even run the Chicago Marathon. I hope you stick around for my journey. I am hoping that I can bring the topic of cancer to YouTube. A few years ago, I was diagnosed, and they don't really give you a step-by-step handbook on how to deal with a medical crisis in your 20s. It can feel extremely isolating and lonely when you have to quarantine, when you're in and out of the hospital so much. So consider this our face-to-face virtual conversation. Now, I grew up in the golden age of YouTube. I feel like that was my main source of entertainment. I even started vlogging when I was in middle school, doing little makeup-y tutorials here and there, but really just stayed for the content, barely posted myself. But that did kickstart my love for vlogging, and I started on TikTok. That's the main platform where people my age go to talk about things. But I feel like here it's easier to have that conversation. So without further ado, I feel like that's a classic YouTube thing to say. Without further ado, let's get into today's topic, discussing what the heck do I do with that awkward chemo taste in my mouth, and how do I eat food, and what do I eat? All of those fabulous questions. Now, just a disclaimer, I know all cancers are different. This is just me and my experience. I understand for everyone this is going to be different. Your doctors might have a different plan for you. I know when I was pregnant going through chemo, I really had to limit my carb intake. So everything is different. Obviously, listen to your doctors. This is just free little pieces of advice. If the shoe fits, feel free to use these life hacks. But the first thing on my list is anything that can be served with a little wedge of lemon. So things like chicken, poultry, seafood, things like that. Anything that already tastes good with a little bit of citrus. Even limes, so things like steak tacos, which are kind of my go-to, really aren't affected by this taste. If anything, tastes a little bit better, who knows? And then additionally, I notice things that are cooked in a lot of garlic, onion, and olive oil have been a little bit too overwhelming. You know, anything unfortunately seasoned or spicy is just too overwhelming when there's already too much going on. So I learned how to cook differently. I learned what seasonings work, which ones don't, and I have found instead of cooking things in olive oil, to cook things in vegetable oil, something kind of neutral, and then just a little bit of sesame seed oil. Because I noticed that things like pot stickers, dumplings, fried rice, things that are primarily cooked in sesame seed oil were things that I started craving. So I bought those ingredients myself and started cooking with that at home. I can't believe I almost forgot to record this part. Okay, soups. Soup is amazing. Cereal is amazing. So for soups, like lemon chicken and rice, potato soup with bacon is just out of this world. And then, you know, your average chicken noodle soup, chicken broth, things like that. That's pretty much my list. I eat these things in excess during this time because steroids just make me so ravenously hungry. If you have any cooking life hacks that you have discovered, feel free to drop them in the comments. Any foods that taste extra good to you, drop them in the comments. Let all of us know. Teach us something new so that we can get through this together. If you have any other questions about any other life hacks that I could provide for you, let me know. I can't make medical advice, obviously, but I can make recommendations on how to make everyday life just a little bit easier. Feel free to ask in the comments. That being said, I hope you join me for my journey. I am still in treatment. As of today, I have completed my 4th round of vincristine within maintenance, if the word vincristine means anything to you. That's where I'm at. Overall, I think that's my 6th round of vincristine. Other little health updates here and there. I might be allergic to one of my chemo pills now, so we are trying to figure out what to do with that. If it's a true allergy to that or a reaction to IVIG. Like I said, big fun terms. So that's where I'm at. Stay in touch. Let me know how you're doing in the comments too. Until our next video, I'm Emily and this is my cancer journey. Until I find a better way to phrase that because I hate that term.